your advice, Lori, and my advice is never going to be, stay somewhere you hate, where you think it's a dead end route, right? If anything, a dead end job that you hate should help bring some self awareness about what environment you ultimately want to work in and take those next steps to go work there. But if you're in a place where you're facing some challenges, getting to that strategic advisor seat, I would say, study the business as much as you can, understand your executive motivations and why they're making the decisions that they're making.
Hey everybody, I'm Laurie Rudiman, and this is Punk Rock HR. It's a show where we talk about work in a raw, real, and refreshingly honest way. From disruptors and innovators to everyday folks like you and me, we're here to cut through the business jargon and figure out how to make work better. Sometimes we take a break and talk about life, relationships, well-being, kids, pets, and everything that makes work worth it. Whether you're an HR pro, a leader, or just curious about what really goes on at work, you are here in the right place. On today's show, I'm chatting with Joey Price, President and CEO of Jumpstart HR, Aspect 43, and author of The Power of HR, How to Make an Organizational Impact as a People Professional. Today, we're talking about what inspired Joey as an author, how he views the future of HR, and what you can do to be ready for what's next in your job and in your organization. Joey was future ready before it was cool. So if you're looking to learn from someone who is on your side and believes in the power of HR, sit back and enjoy this episode of Punk Rock HR with my dear friend, Joey Price. Hey, Joey, welcome to the podcast.
Lori, I am glad to be back. I feel like this is my second or third time, so thrilled to be here.
Yeah, you're an old pro, and we have a lot to talk about today. Before we get to who are you and what are you all about, because that's like my favorite question, I want to let people know right up front that you're here to talk about your new book. So tell us, what's the new book and when does it come out?
Sure. So my book is called The Power of HR, How to Make an Organizational Impact as a People Professional. And at the time that we're chatting, it's already out if you're in the UK. But for those who are in the US, you've got to wait until March 25th for it to go out.
Well, tell me, why did you write this book?
Similar to you, Laura, I feel like I've had this book in me for a long time. And I think that the life experiences and professional experiences that I had along the way just affirmed that this is a message that needs to be out in the world. I wrote the book specifically for senior to mid-level HR professionals who felt a little bit stuck in their career, maybe stuck in their company, not quite seen as a strategic partner, or feel like they had the incomplete tool set for being that strategic partner that they know they can be. And so I was compelled to write the book because, as Steve Jobs says, he wanted to put a ding in the universe. I wanted to put a ding in the way that we do HR and the way that HR is received, perceived, and respected within an organization. And so I'm just playing my part. The readers will have to read it and then apply the strategies and tools. But that's why I did it. I wanted to improve the outcomes and expectations that people have about their HR department and their HR career.
Well, Joey, you put a ding in the universe the day you were born. Just know
You.
that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You've got such an interesting, meaty topic. And I wonder, can you crystallize the thesis for us? Because right now we hear a lot of conversations about how HR is the most important department within your organization. We also hear that HR is under threat of automation from AI. So what's going on? What's the thesis of your book?
Yeah, the overall thesis is that being a strategic thought partner to the business still matters, even in a digital first world. And this digital environment that we're in makes that people aspect way more compelling and way more important than it's ever been. Because not only are we adjusting and evaluating how we work, but we're adjusting where we work. What is the definition of work? What is compensation? What soft skills are most important? And these are the types of questions that HR should be thinking about and adding to the overall business conversation with not only executives, but with line level employees and managers of what's your part in the organization? How do we help you stay motivated and engaged? And in the midst of all this digital transformation, where does each puzzle piece fit?
Well, one of the things you do just in your writing, your blogging, the things you share on LinkedIn, you always show us what good looks like. And I wonder if you do that in the book and if there's a story that exemplifies what good looks like for HR in this new digital world.
Yeah, so the fun thing about the book is it's divided in 10 chapters, and each chapter starts with a story that's been, let's just say, modified to protect the innocent, right? So they're written in fable form, but they have context that any HR professional can read it and say, oh, I see myself in this, or oh, I've seen in a situation like this and it wasn't handled the way that it should. But good HR, you still wear a lot of hats in this day. You are a diplomat, right? Many times you are the advocate for the employees to the business and the advocate of the business to the employees. You are now adopting this new technology evangelist hat in the sense that you've got to train and upskill your workers for success in this new world of work. But you also have to understand, whether you're an HR department of one or HR for an enterprise, what are the new tools and technologies that are making your life easier or making you have to adjust how you perform your job? And then, of course, you are the personification of soft skills. I think good HR is someone who can step into a room and not be the thermos that tells you, or the thermometer rather, that gets the temperature of the room, but you're actually able to change the temperature of the room just in how you speak and the way that you manage conflict and things of that nature. And so we're still wearing a lot of hats in HR, and the good one is wearing those.
What I love about the Workforce Agility Limited series by Cornerstone was we talked to executives and customers all about skills, 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 skills. Cornerstone has a wonderful background in learning and development, training, etc. Their LMS is world class, but they've centered the business now, not just on that, like building upon that, but building upon how everything has moved to the skills economy. So check out the limited series called Workforce Agility, and you can get it wherever you get your podcast. And it's just a wonderful series where we talk to their executives on the shift of why, and also their customers that are using it. So check it out whenever you get a chance. Appreciate it.
I like it. And I like being an active participant in the room and not just somebody who sits blindly by and watches other people make decisions. I think that's a really interesting, nuanced description of the thermometer versus the thermostat. I love that. I mean, you know me, I'm a writer. I love
Yeah,
metaphors. So
yeah. Well, you can have that one. Just quote me the first time, and then you can take it and run with it.
Well, I was just thinking that if someone walks into a Barnes and Noble or into their favorite local bookstore and finds themselves with a copy of your book in hand, how do you want them to read it? Do they drop in on any chapter? Do they start from the beginning? And what's your favorite chapter?
Oh, I want this to be a book that meets you in whatever moment you're in. All right. So if you are, let's say that senior level professional, feel free to treat it like a chicken soup for the soul and dive into that chapter on analytics if that's what you need in this moment. But if you're that mid-level career professional and you're like, no one's ever taught me any of this stuff, or I got here as the young people say, just off the strength of my muscle, and I had no coaches, advisors, mentors. The whole book is full of not only my words but the thoughts and ideas that I went out and found, like who are the mentors that I look up to in each particular chapter. I share that with you, and so I want you to read this from cover to cover and let it resonate how you want. And then for the academic world, professors out there who know that the world of business is changing faster than academia can keep up, I want them to find the most applicable chapters and stories and bring it to their students and say, hey, I know we've got textbooks, I know we've got courses and all of those things, but this is the game speed of business happening right now. And I want you to pay attention to this book. So I can't give you a favorite chapter. I've talked with many people just in researching for the book and preparing for the book, but everyone that played a part in it has been a phenomenal inspiration for the words that you'll read or hear once we get in audio book
I
format.
love it. I love it. It's like asking someone to pick their favorite kid. They have one, they just won't do it. I do want to talk a little bit about the stories because one of the things you said is that your book is fable driven. So tell us one of your favorite stories from the book, would you?
Yeah, so in the chapter about recruitment, I talk about this gentleman who is at a hotel in Florida. You know, Miami's a big tourism district, and so they were having trouble acquiring talent for the business because it was such a competitive market. And in the fable, and just not to go off the rails a bit, but the fables are bite-sized pieces. They're just a setup for the content that you'll get into in the chapter and the practical advice that'll be in the chapter. But the gentleman is like, hey, it's a competitive market. My executives have put this pressure on me, and I don't know where to start. And so I interact with this gentleman, give him some strategies. He runs the plays for 6 months, and then he's able to go back and say, "We've made these strides in recruitment." And so some of the fables show up as interventions or coaching interventions. Some of them are letters of employees who went through a candidate experience, and then they turn around and say, wow, this was awesome. I didn't realize that HR done well could look like this. So it's meant to give the reader an opportunity to see themselves in the story and not just focus on what am I getting from this particular person in this particular industry, but how can I take this moment that this person went through and apply it to my life and my career.
Well, I love the idea of the book. I love the concept. I've pre ordered mine. I'm so excited to get it. And listen, a lot of people write books with absolutely no experience. And they're good, like they're academics, right? They've got big ideas, they're thought leaders, but they don't have the practical knowledge. And the reason why I wanted to talk about the book is because the book is rooted in who you are and what you're all about. So take us a little bit through your career and how you arrived at a place with all of the knowledge and all of the experience to even dream of writing a book.
Yeah, so I'll spare the listeners, my story of how I came into HR. But like many HR pros, it wasn't, what I dreamed about when I was in high school or college. I kind of accidentally or by happenstance, found my way in the field. But I loved it, and I loved the future that I saw if I leaned in and did well and learned from great people such as yourself and others who have inspired me to grow in the field.
But wait,
But
what did you love about it?
what did I love about HR? Well, so I'm one of those people who like different things. I like variety, and you're not. And I talk about this in the book. You're not an attorney, but you manage law. You're not a technology professional, but you manage IT in some ways, and you teach your team to do IT. You're not a marketer, but for talent and employee engagement strategies, you've got to be able to sell the pros and opportunities of your business. And so it's one of those careers where you have the opportunity to live out the ideas and hobbies and interests that you might have in other fields that maybe you didn't study or go to school for or get a career in. You get to do it in HR. And I thought it was super fascinating that that was the case. I thought I was going to be a athletic trainer or sports medicine doctor. But what I realized was that my passion for helping people succeed at the highest level, I just took it from the ball fields to the boardroom. And so that essence of who I was and how I wanted to help inspire people and give people practical tools to succeed, I saw very clearly how I would be able to do that as an HR professional.
And so you've got a real grown up business. Like that's the one beautiful thing that I love about this conversation because you're anchored in the knowledge and practice of like human resources and human behavior and recruitment and all of that. But you're also a leader, like a true CEO. So tell me a little bit about what you do for a living.
Yeah, no, great question, Lori. So at Jumpstart HR, we provide HR support services for small businesses, startups, and nonprofits. We're that bridge that helps an organization grow from 5, 10, 15 employees to actually needing their first full-time HR hire. Or we're the support system that comes in and supports a busy HR team that just needs to augment their staff in a particular way, whether that's through payroll or recruiting support or big projects like multi-state employee handbooks or things of that sort. And so that's what we do on the Jumpstart HR side. We just acquired a business, Aspect 43, which is a phenomenal world-class HR technology analyst firm. And it is a powerful business that helps HR technology vendors, talent acquisition technology vendors understand the practitioner experience and how well their tools are equipped to translate into practitioner success. And so between both companies, we are very much focused on creating great outcomes for those who work, no matter what day of the week that is. So it's the Monday through Friday folks or frontline workers who also work weekends and holidays too.
Hey there, I'm Tim Boris, host of the Working Well podcast, where business strategy meets human sustainability. If you're an executive, a leader, or change maker ready to ditch burnout, build thriving teams, and drive real results, this is your next must listen. Tune in on the Work Defined Network or at timboris.com/podcast.
What does it really take to lead with impact in today's ever-evolving world? Welcome to Inside the C-Suite, the podcast where influence, energy, innovation, and empathy converge. Hi, I'm Christy Honeycutt, your host. Join me as I sit down with the boldest voices in leadership, visionaries who are not just making decisions, but making a difference. In every episode, we explore the heart of leadership. How do high-performing leaders harness their energy? How do they lead with empathy without losing their edge? How do they turn disruption into innovation and pressure into purpose? You'll hear unfiltered stories of adversity, resilience, and the raw moments that shaped true influence. This isn't about perfection. It's about presence, passion, and the energetic exchange that fuels transformation. Inside the C-Suite is your invitation to lead from a deeper place with intention, connection, and courage. If you're ready to go beyond the surface and unlock what really moves leaders to action, hit subscribe and step inside. You can find us wherever you get your podcast fix. Inside the C-Suite, well, we're an energetic exchange. Let's lead with influence, live with energy, and create with empathy.
Well, that's really amazing because what you're doing is you're kind of wrapping your arms around this idea of work and work tech. And you're really trying to meet people where they are, whether it's small businesses that need some help and support as they grow or need to augment their work, or you're actually having real conversations with technology vendors, right? And trying to understand what they do, who they are, and how to help them meet the moment with actual HR practitioners. So it gives you kind of a unique worldview as to what's happening in the world of work. Did I get that right?
You did. You did.
Tell me, I got that right, right? Like you've got this holistic view of the market then, correct?
Yes, that's correct. And that was one of the key reasons why it made sense for us to bring Aspect 43 into the fold. Sarah White, the founder, has done a phenomenal job building an organization that has true impact at levels that Jumpstart was never designed to reach. But with my mantra being, I want people to be more excited about Monday than they are about Friday, I wanted to see what is a natural extension of that in at the enterprise and medium-sized level. And so while we are not, wired today to be the HR company to work for medium enterprise or enterprise level organizations, we can help shape the tools that they use, and we can help get insights from those practitioners at that level rather, to help the HR vendors make great tools that have great outcomes.
Really interesting. But I want to go back to something. Tell me what you believe about Monday and Friday again.
I want people to love their jobs. We spend so much time at work. We spend so much time thinking about work. Our ability to live the lives that we desire, for many of us, is through the paychecks that we receive from work. So why not create as an enjoyable experience for everyone as we possibly can? And there's, of course, a happy medium between not being engaged and being stressed out, but also being so thrilled that you're not productive, right? So we want to find and help fine tune that balance between the employee that wants to leave because they're checked out, and the employee that wants to stay because it's so cushy. It's just not challenging for them, and they're enjoying that. We want people to love the challenge, love the culture, and love the tools that they have at work. And so that's what we believe, and everyone on our team is aligned with that. And we're grateful to work with partners who want that for themselves and see us as a partner, whether through through Aspect 43 or through Jumpstart HR.
You know, Joey, I've never had a job so cushy enough that I wouldn't leave. Like, where does that job exist?
We'll have to talk offline.
Well, I am really curious about this string of conversation, because I think there are some HR professionals, which breaks my heart, who are really struggling in their role, right? And they're staying and they're putting in the time, but they're not making any traction. And sometimes, like, the first and foremost people in the organization who are the most frustrated are the HR professionals, and we need them more engaged than ever. We need them vigilant than ever. So can you talk to me about the role that HR professionals play now and why their engagement matters more than ever?
HR professionals are the litmus test for how well your employee is meeting the needs of employees. HR plays a unique role in that we're in those behind closed door conversations where executives are deliberating over policy, procedure, and things that will ultimately trickle through and impact the rest of the organization. But we're also in those one-on-one confidential meetings with employees who are like, hey, why did my pay get cut 25%? Or why do I have to return to the office now? I'm really frustrated about that. I moved 2 hours away. I wanted to be in the mountains, and now you're telling me I've got this 4-hour commute. So HR professionals are very much needed because we have an authentic lens into both sides of those conversations. And there are rooms where we have to speak truth to power and keep people accountable by doing what's right by the organization and employees. And then there are rooms where we have to be empathetic, and we've got to say, hey, totally understand. This is your experience. The organization is moving forward in this way. Here are some resources and tools that can help. And so we, again, going back to that diplomat route, right? We may be responsible for leading change that we do not own, but we are best suited when we can do that in a way where we get as much consensus around it. And there's no other department that can do that. And it's gotta be us.
Yeah, that duality is so tricky. It's such a tightrope to navigate. And if I think now to your point about return to office or even the rollbacks on DEI, there's part of me that's like, gosh, HR individuals are employees too. And it hurts their heart when things come down from leadership that the organization needs to change. And yet it's almost like this old Jeff Bezos idea of disagree but commit, right? If you're on board and you're in this HR role, even if you disagree, you've got to commit to the mandates that leadership drives, right? So when you talk to people who are kind of stuck in HR, stuck in some of this like murkiness, any advice for them to get through it and get through it with dignity?
Yeah. So the advice that I share is really what is incorporated as a red thread throughout the book, is making sure that you do your darndest to earn the influence and be seen as a strategic advisor to those decision makers, and ultimately being a part of that decision making process. Now, your advice, Laurie, and my advice is never going to be, stay somewhere you hate, where you think it's a dead end route, right? If anything, a dead end job that you hate should help bring some self awareness about what environment you ultimately want to work in and take those next steps to go work there. But if you're in a place where you're facing some challenges, getting to that strategic advisor seat, I would say, study the business as much as you can, understand your executive motivations and why they're making the decisions that they're making. And to the degree that you can, bring some helpful and healthy alternatives that allow them to achieve end goals that they want that may be in the best interest of the organization, but perhaps they're going about it in a way that might not be the best. So aim for that strategic seat and do what you can to keep it.
That's really wise advice. And I think one of the misconceptions about HR is that they are, forgive me, the handmaidens of executive leadership teams, right? And that leaders, make a decision and HR just, implements and execute it. And we don't care about employees, right? I wonder, what are some other misconceptions of HR?
Well, I would say, just to drill down on that point, is there's a misconception that HR has no voice in the rooms of executive leadership and executive influence. Sometimes there are policies that are rolled out that are not as bad as they could have been because
Correct.
because the HR voice was listened to, right? There are things that maybe, whether willfully or unwillfully, maybe executives wanted to do something that was illegal or unethical or immoral, and HR helped them walk off that ledge. So I'd say that a big myth is that you don't have power, you don't have influence, you don't have an ability to inspire change for good, so you should stay silent. That's not the case. You just have to speak with the right voice and use the right tools to make positive change happen.
Visionary voices, bold breakthroughs. This is Shally's Alley, where top recruiting minds spill their best kept secrets live every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Raw, unfiltered conversations on sourcing, hiring, and the future of talent, where we ask the tough questions no one else will. Tune in and level up.
Well, I'm really glad we have your book to help us with that. And you've got all of these strategies and practical frameworks within the book. So as we're talking kind of about leadership and voice, what can you offer from the book that might be helpful?
The biggest thing that I can offer is, for each section of the book, and we talk about the various aspects of HR, there are a list of questions and things that you can ask on a daily basis, monthly basis, and annual basis, just to give yourself a check-in of, hey, how well is my organization performing in this area, and how well am I performing as a leader in this area? The goal of education or teaching or inspiration isn't always to feed someone the answer, but it's to help walk them to the answer that's right in their context. And so the book gives you the opportunity at your own pace to ask the really tough questions and know that, hey, if you don't have the answer, you can reach out to me, or you can reach out to the podcast world, the blog world, the consulting world. There are really smart people that are out there that can help you get answers. And so a major part of the book that I love are the reflection questions.
I love that. They can reach out to you, not to me. I don't have anything to say. In fact, I will direct them back to you. I think that's how that goes. And the book. Well, listen, we're almost out of time, but there's one thing I really want to talk about that we haven't talked about. And forgive me, but what's going on with AI? What's going on, Joey? Give us some answers. Give us some answers. Bring clarity to this conversation around AI and the world of work. I mean, what a big topic, right? What do you want to say about all that?
It's such a big topic, and I think that we're still where we were several years ago, where we're waiting for governmental guardrails to say what's in play and what's not. Now, in light of where things are now, I don't know that we'll get those answers as soon as we'd like. But I think that AI, especially within the HR sphere, is being used to bring speed and accuracy to large volumes of data that you normally would have to manually call through and transport from one place to another. That is great for the senior leader who is already in a seat of influence. It makes life challenging for the entry level professional who's looking for their footing in the industry. And so AI needs to be a tool that we all seek to understand in the ways that it shows up, whether that's AI agents, whether that's through content generation and content creation, whether that's automation, the different AI. Talking about AI is just like, talking about benefits. Okay, well, there are many different types of benefits. With AI, there are many different iterations and goals of AI. So it's a big topic. It's one that we don't have full clarity on right now, but I know that many technology organizations now are incorporating AI in some very meaningful ways. And if you're using tools that are legacy tools, maybe if you've always been on, like an ADP, or always been on a Workday, always been on an Oracle, always have been on a Bamboo, so on and so forth, as an HR professional, you need to tap into what these technology providers are doing with AI to make your job easier. That's kind of my piece on it. I know we could probably go for hours on AI, but you said keep it quick. So
I mean, I'm laughing because I like your recommendation of like paying attention to technology vendors and actually signing up for a few webinars. Like, people don't understand, like, the webinars that are out there right now from tech providers are very good and very interesting. And there's also LinkedIn Learning, there's Coursera, there's all sorts of opportunities to just Google what is AI and HR and figure it out, or at least like start to grow your own learning path here. I don't know. What do you think about that?
No, I think you're incredibly right. And it's not just learning for the sake of understanding AI's impact on your job, but it's understanding AI's impact on your team, and not just your HR team, but your organization. So, many of these new iterations of AI models and AI agents aren't just to help you get your job done, but it's to help inform how managers do one-on-one coaching with their team, or tracking time and flagging flight risks, or evaluating candidates for hire. This new world that we're in, you cannot bury your head in the sand. You cannot rely on status quo. You have to be an active participant in understanding what AI is doing. And so you laid out some really great solutions out there: webinars, trainings, blogs, podcasts, because they are really meant to help you navigate the what's next.
I love being 50 because at some point I'm pretty close to being like, yeah, I don't care anymore. Like, let the kids figure it out. I'm going to go hit the beach. Strategy here. Well, listen, there's so much to learn from you, from your book, from all of your good stuff out online. And I want to know, where can people find your book and where can they find you?
You can find my book anywhere. Kogan Page is my publisher, and so you can find it on the Kogan Page website. You can check that out for any promo codes that you may be able to apply to the book. You can check it out at Target, Barnes & Nobles, Books A Million, independent bookstores. You can order it online, Amazon, all those big box places. You can find it. Yes.
Amazing. And how about you, Joey? If people want to get to know you a little bit more and follow you, where do you send them? Where should they go?
Yeah, I'm not hard to find. Joey Price on LinkedIn. And then also my company's jumpstart-hr.com is a website for Jumpstart. And then Aspect 43 is aspect43.com.
Thanks for coming on and sharing all your good stuff. And congratulations on the book.
Laurie, thanks for having me. And thanks for just being an awesome partner and friend. So excited for this release. And thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. By the way, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. A big shout out to Work Defined. They're my friends who host this show on their network. And thanks to longtime production partners and friends at Emerald City Productions for making this show happen and sounding fantastic in the process. Now, don't forget, like and subscribe on YouTube or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to stay up to date on the show, and leave a 5-star review. That would be great too. And because you're still listening, I'm going to tell you, it is my fucking nightmare to ask people to like and subscribe. It's just not very punk rock. It doesn't seem very cool, but here I am doing it. And that's because I appreciate you and I want you to hear each and every episode. Regardless of whether or not you like and subscribe, thanks for tuning in. And guess what? I'll catch you next time on Punk Rock HR.